Then you go down to the Sea of Galilee. Let's jump ahead in time again. Lake Kinneret, Sea of Galilee. Kinneret is our English way of saying the Kinor Lake. And a Kinor in Hebrew, that's a harp. And they call it that because it's a little shaped like a harp. Any big body of water like that, in the Jewish mind, is hell.
Is hell?
It's the abyss.
The
I'm just telling you. The abyss is where the devils are. That's where the devils are. And we know that's true. So in their mind, they're terrified of big areas of water. That's why they're desert people. Or maybe that's not why they're desert people, but they are desert people. And they get to too much water. It's like, it's too much. Too much water. The abyss is where the devils are.
We have some Jewish friends who basically said there's two standards that Jewish children grow up with. One is how to argue, and the other one is they all learn to swim.
Maybe now. Yeah, maybe now. But I'm telling you, back in those days, this was the mindset.
No, I'm saying that the swimming thing may have something to do with it. It's that
Maybe.
surviving through the abyss.
Maybe. But in those days, you could be almost sure no one knew how to swim. Because that would mean you're putting yourself in the hell.
Right.
But maybe that's not something that's just for those days, because it doesn't talk about in Revelation how there's no sea
Exactly.
in heaven. So
Excellent.
that's not
It's like a
necessary.
promise to those people.
Right, exactly.
It's like,
And
don't worry, there
maybe
won't be any hell in the new world.
Maybe they have something, because why would God not have it there? Do you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't just be to
I
make
know.
them feel better.
Right.
It would be
Yeah.
because
Because he could have said,
it is.
and there'll be twice as much sea, but it'll be good and you'll like it
Right.
in the new world. But he doesn't say that. He says, and take
I've always
comfort,
thought about that.
no
Why?
more sea. Don't have to
There's
worry
no
about it.
sea.
And the sea is chaotic. You can't control it. It's too big for you. I remember when I was much younger in California and body surfing, and one time I was standing there waiting for a little bit of a wave, and I never liked to get out too deep myself. About here is good enough for me. And I remember one time I was standing there, and all of a sudden I got picked up and put down way over there, all at once. It wasn't a process. It was like, okay, Brian, there you go. And I thought, okay, this is bigger than me right here.
Yep.
And it's too big for you. You can't control it. It's chaotic. It's where the devils are. So this is a mindset. Even today, there's no law against it, and no one builds right on the shore of the lake. Even today.
Wow.
And you'd think that'd be the first place. And when I heard that, I thought, I'm going there. Land will be cheap.
Exactly.
No one wants it, right?
You just can't get a builder who will build it there.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You bring all your own materials.
Most people couldn't swim, and I was thinking about that and thinking about Peter's name, Rock. Maybe that's how he got his name for his. He fell over one day, and people saw him, and they thought, I'm going to call you a rock.
Interesting.
Listen to this, Ezekiel. For the Lord Yahweh says this, when I make you a ruined city like other deserted cities, when I raise up the deep against you, and the ocean covers you, when I fling you down with those who go down into the abyss, with the people of long ago, and put you deep in the underworld, in the ruins of long ago, with those who sink into oblivion, so you can never come back or be restored again to the land of the living. So this is a concept in their minds. Whether it's true or not, this is what they were thinking.
Ezekiel what?
Ezekiel 26:19. Here's 2 Peter 2:4. When angels sinned, God did not spare them. He sent them down into the underworld and consigned them into the dark abyss to be held there until the judgment. So at least Peter thought that. And the abyss is, I used to think the abyss is just a deep place. And no, it's water. Remember that movie that came out in the 80s, The Abyss? Mm-hmm. It's water. Check this out. What is your name, he said. Legion, because many demons had entered him. And the demons began to beg him not to order them to depart into the abyss. Now a large herd of pigs was feeding there on the hillside, and the demon spirits begged Yeshua to let them go into the pigs, and he said, all right then. But what's the first thing they do?
They run into
Into
the
the
abyss.
I think, when I read that now, I think they're begging Yeshua, don't send us into the abyss. And he goes, no, I think you're going to go into the abyss. Take the pigs with you. Back you go. Because without that, and I'm not saying that's true, but without that, I always wondered, why are they doing that?
Well,
don't you want to find somebody else to live in, and the first thing you do is go die? I mean, if they could already come out, then why would they need to come out to go into something else so they could kill it so they could come out? You know, that just seemed like a weird equation to me all the time. In the fourth watch of the night, he came towards them walking on the sea. And what do they respond?
It's a ghost.
A ghost! Why? Because they're out on the hell. That's why. What else are they going to see out there? Of course, it's a ghost. Okay. The Galilee, once again, like Lebanon, it's not Lebanon, it's the Lebanon. Same thing with Galilee. It's not Galilee, a place. It's the Galil, the circle, basically. This area over here, they referred to it as the circle. Why? Well, you saw all these nations back and forth. In the time of Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon, first the northern kingdoms were already gone. They're already taken away into Assyria before, a long time ago. Then here comes Nebuchadnezzar, and he says, all right, I had enough of you. And finally, he takes them out, the southern kingdom, the Judeans. He leaves some there, but he deports everyone. And so you got them over there, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, Daniel, and they're off in Babylon. Well, he finally, not Nebuchadnezzar, but Daniel, finally, the people are allowed to go back after 70 years. But they've been away 70 years, and after all, it's still not their land, because now it's the Persian Empire. So it's still not autonomous territory. So, yeah, it's good for some of you to go back and build the temple. We need that. Go do that. Be well, be blessed if you want to do that. But we've been here 70 years, we got businesses, we got families, we're here. So not very many of them went back. You need to know that, because it sounds like they were allowed to go build the temple, so all the Jews must have moved back, but they didn't. Most of them stayed, because it's like, well, we're already not in our territory. We won't be in our territory if we go back either. We'll just be in the Persian Empire, and we already are, right? So why uproot? It's good. No one's oppressing us, so they stayed. Then you have more empires and stuff. When Alexander the Great died, his generals divided up his territories, fought over it really, and you end up in the time of the Maccabees, where finally some Jewish guerrillas revolt and take back the territory. So now it's in Jewish hands again, which has been a long time. Only then do some of the people in Babylon say, well, I guess it's under our control again. We can move back. Well, in the meantime, you've got the temple people down there in Judah, and they think one way. They're very traditional, that the temple, the ritual, everything, they think one way. Well, these guys over here, they've had to do without the temple for a long time, and so they've actually gone through a process where they've become very charismatic. So they rely not on the temple. When you have the temple, you rely on it too much. When you don't have the temple, you rely on God. So they were just living in the Holy Spirit, whatever, how you want to say it. And so they became very different from the traditionalists who were back in the land. Anyway, no one was living up here, so they said, we'll go there. So all these crazy, charismatics come over, and they live over here and found little cities like Cana and Nazareth and, Capernaum and all these cities that we talk about in the Galilee. So they're extremely different types of people. The people in Judea, they're the establishment. And they think these backwater hicks are crazy. And they think, no, you don't understand it. You're so rooted in your establishment, you're not getting the blessing. So there's this big dichotomy between them.